Michael Bublé,
Action, top!
welcome to Q. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Last
really
time-
nice to see you again.
Last time I saw you was backstage
Yeah,
at the Junos,
yeah.
and you were giving me hosting tips.
What, did I?
Yeah. You were
What?
very sweet. I was very nervous.
No, well, so was I think.
You came up to me, but I don't know, man. Like, you came up to me and you were like, hey, man, are you nervous right now? I was like, yeah, I'm a little nervous because I'm so nervous about tomorrow night. I'm not cursing. I can't curse as much as I want to right now.
Because I was cursing.
Yeah, you were cursing. We were
I
both
know,
cursing.
yeah.
And it was, I'm so nervous about tomorrow too, man, but we're going to be all right. Just get up there and look them out in the eye, and you're funny, and go out and tell them your jokes, because they should laugh at them.
Yeah, well, because I think that night, because that's like the party of the industry party. There's like, how many people are in that room? A couple thousand people?
Couple thousand people, yeah.
It's a big room, and everybody's sort of, there's a lot of cynical people that have been in this business for a long time, and I know that is a scary room. And so, because you're such a sweet, I mean, people, people know that you're who you are. You're very real and very sweet. And so, I think it helps me I think it helps my own nerves and centering myself to be able to come to you and connect with you and to go like, how you feeling, man?
Yeah, it
Like,
was very sweet. It was very nice of you to do
well,
that.
likewise, you were very sweet too. I had a really good time with you and your buds back there.
Me and Mitch, yeah.
And then you killed it.
It was all right.
Then you go and killed it.
It didn't go too bad.
Yeah, and I said to you when I got up there to accept the Juno with my co-producers, I think I felt even like more in awe of you because I think I tried to be funny and it was just crickets. And I went like, oh, this room is tough.
So then
This
the
is a
next
tough
night,
room.
you get up in the arena. I mean, this was a big moment. How did you feel when you got up there?
I feel the same way no matter what I do now. I feel like everything is easy.
No nerves.
Everything, listen, I think I care. I think there's a sense of wanting to have integrity with what I do and wanting to be good. I think everybody wants to be good.
I would agree with
But
you.
I think when when everybody's in all of our lives, we all go through hard things. And I think when you go through really hard stuff, I think it makes other things relative. And you say, wow, I thought this was tough, but no, this is easy. So that night and all the other nights and this interview and all of the performances that I do, I actually really pray, practice, meditate on just enjoying and knowing how lucky I am.
Well, let me ask it in a different way then. When you get up on stage after all you've been through, it's your hometown, and you get that incredibly warm applause.
You felt like it was really warm?
Yeah, I felt like...
I had expected more. And I'm not kidding. I really expected more.
You thought you'd get a little bit more?
I thought there might be a standing ovation.
I believe there was.
Let's be honest. Vancouver is the great city, and it's my city. But we're not known for our expressive, warmth.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I understand.
you know what I mean. So I think I didn't know. I didn't want to think like I wanted. It's funny when I was writing with Luch, my co-writer. We were writing all my bits and stuff, and he was like, okay, so when you open up, he said you should really probably it's gonna take about 20 seconds. You know what I mean, for them all to sit down. And I was like, no, Luch, I don't think it's gonna be 30 seconds. I don't think I'm gonna get that standing ovation. And he was like, dude, they are gonna give you a standing ovation. And I came out and I can't remember exactly what I said, but it was like, hey, Vancouver. And it was like, oh, okay. It didn't happen. Here we go.
But I remember later on when you mentioned you were having your next child.
That
was a really
more.
big. You need more all the time.
Okay.
We can all stand up if you want, Michael. Is that something you'd prefer?
Finally, oh my God, I'm finally getting the love that I so desire.
You said during your open monologue, though, and I wanted to quote you in this, sometimes when you've been gone a while, you wonder if you lost whatever it is you might have had in the first place.
That is just a line that I wrote.
Does it mean anything to you?
I thought it was funny. Why I thought it was funny is because I love the self-deprecating humor of, it's very Canadian, of saying that, that you're insecure, that you're afraid, that, I've been gone a long time, have I lost it? And I really wanted for it to be so genuine, for them to really, to see this as fear and insecurity.
You didn't mean it?
Well, no, because the next line was, was me saying, well, I said, I'm afraid that I might not have what I had before I'd been gone. And then right after I said, but literally I've been back for 35 seconds and I realized that I'm better than I ever was. So it was a chance, it's a chance to set up the, listen, if we don't laugh, we cry.
Sure, but I took it as an honest moment. I took it as an honest moment of you expressing some vulnerability there.
Oh, well, I'm so glad that I tricked you then.
You really did.
Yeah.
And then you asked me for $5.
Yeah.
But surely, so no, I mean...
No, I think it's, I think that's part of my humor. I think that's part of me, wanting to not just relax the audience, but relax myself and sort of be able to acknowledge what I've been through, but at the same time, move past and say, you know what, look, I'm still here, I feel good, I feel, positive about the future.
Well, I want to talk about the new album, I want to talk about the future and all that stuff. I do want to talk a little bit about what you've gone through, not in any big detail. I just want to ask how your son is doing.
He's great, thank you.
He's doing all right?
He's great, thank you. And if you can imagine, now I've gone to, I don't know how many countries, and every interview, of course, this is a question. Yeah. So for me, I understand that there's it's something I need to acknowledge, but I am so ready to move on.
Well, that was my next question. Is that like how have you found the actual act of people like me asking you about something incredibly personal in your life, like your son's cancer and your son's remission?
I don't think it's because you're a jerk.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I think that, you know what I mean? Your job as a journalist is to ask, to interrogate, to, you know what I mean? To find, you want to find out about the person. But I think it's painful for me, and also it's not fair to my family and to my kids.
No, and it's
because they and I mean, when I say it's not fair, you can ask them whatever you want, but they deserve the chance to move on, and they deserve the chance to be able to sort of not sit back in the past, but to be able to look ahead to the future and to be excited about all the beautiful things that are happening. And so I think it's more, Tom, about me having to have the strength and also to stop being so Canadian. Mm-hmm. And not to allow it or to indulge it. I have to say to you, let's move on to the next question. Because if I don't, and I do what I do in my very Canadian way, I feel like I open it up for people to continue to ask. You know what I mean?
It's not really any of our business.
No, it's listen. I understand people. Listen, it helps people too, but.
Yeah, I mean, I want to get to that eventually, but I think one thing that's been clear to me even so far in this conversation is that some sort of transition happened to you personally. Like you said in the first 5 minutes of our conversation, after what I went through, after you go through something hard like this, after what my family went through, you can't help but. So all these things lead me to believe that some kind of mental, existential transition happened. And I think that's pretty clear.
Yeah, and I think, you know what? I think it should.
So what were you like before, do you think? Like when you look back?
Listen, I think I was always a kind, empathetic person. I think I have a beautiful family who gave us a lot of love. And I think being Canadian, it's funny, it's a strange thing to say it because when people used to ask me to describe myself, one of the words.
What a weird question to ask them.
Yeah, right. They would if I would be doing some big, kind of, group talk or somebody, there'd be what do you call it? Like all the journalists in a big scrum, and someone would ask that question, like, can you come up with a few words to describe yourself? And one of the words was always Canadian, and I think that there's so much in that word, and I'm not saying this to you because we're on Canadian television or we're talking to the public in Canada, because this question has been asked in Germany and Italy and France.
How do you describe yourself?
Yeah, and I think that is there's this very distinct part of me that is so Canadian. My humor, my outlook on life, the way that I see the world. I think that, so I think that there was always, I felt like there was there was always goodness towards other people. But I feel that I don't know if I always, if I allowed that for myself. You know what I mean?
What do you mean? No, I don't
Well,
know.
I mean, you're an artist just like I am.
Yeah.
You're a creative person.
Yeah.
I think we love to hate ourselves. Yeah. Like we sort of, we can revel in the insecurity of it all. And that night when you hosted that event, I don't know if you're anything like me in the way that there used to be nights where I would go out to something like that, and instead of looking at the 2,230 people who were smiling and loving it, I would focus on the one who was like bored and just couldn't stand me. Yeah. And that is something I think that really changed. I think I have a different perspective where I really, I think I realized that a lot of the things I had worried about, a lot of the things that I thought mattered, just are not important. And I think, I really wanted to experience the positive things in life and the beautiful things, because I got a sense of mortality. I got a sense of, truly the things that are important in life. And for me, every single moment started to matter, and being in the moment started to matter, and being awake in that way.
And Michael, is that change an immediate change?
For me, it was.
Or is that something that you have to work on?
No, Tom, for me, it was like, there was a snap moment. It was not a matter of weeks or a mantra I told myself. It just happened very quickly for me. And I think the understanding of how my world changed, or how I saw who I wanted to be, changed very quickly. And I realized that I wanted to have a mission in my life, to be kind. You said it to me today. That's who you naturally are. And I thought to myself, you know what? I'm tired of, I don't want to indulge the cynical people. Mm-hmm. I don't want the negativity in my life. I want to just bring joy. This world is tough enough and cynical enough and scary enough, and I just want to bring love. And I started to realize how much power there is in empathy and compassion, and I really started to think, like, man, you know what? We all feel powerless sometimes, and I realized, like, wow, this sounds like a cliche, but wow, one person can change the arc of someone's life, their career, their path, by smiling, hugging, having a kind word.
Listening.
And listening.
Tell me about the decision to make this new record.
One of the things that it's crazy, mm-hmm. but I'll be honest about it, is that I don't want to know the results. So I have enjoyed the process of making the music, of putting together the people that I love, the producers that I love, the musicians that I love, doing the songs that I love. And I know nothing. I don't know how the record is doing, don't know how the singles are doing.
I'm not as interested in that.
But today, mm-hmm. Ed Sheeran
mm-hmm.
ruined it for me.
Why?
In the nicest way. But he wrote me this morning, and he told me what's happening.
What did he tell you?
He told me the record's doing pretty good.
That's pretty good.
And I had no idea.
Does that still feel good?
Yeah, it felt pretty good, actually. And I was a bit surprised, because I know it's a great record, but I have tried to protect myself and separate any ego from the love of the process of doing this. God, I sound like an artist.
No, but listen, as an artist, that's what I wanted. When I said I want to talk about the album,
yeah.
I wanted to talk about the process.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about the idea of you getting into a studio and making music.
Can I show you something?
Yeah, lay it on me.
Can I have my phone? Because this is the weird part. Mm-hmm. So before I saw you, I didn't know I had no idea if I was going to make a record.
Yeah.
I didn't. I was like, am I going to go? I didn't know if I never fell in love with music, but I knew that I didn't know if I was ready to go into that. I think more about going to a public place.
Right.
And so I invited those guys that you met that night.
So this was the night at the Junos,
yeah.
The night before the Juno broadcast.
So a month before that, I invited all these guys over to my house, and we just drank a lot. Mm-hmm. And we played like a Mario Kart and stuff.
I got Mario Kart.
Yeah.
Mario Kart 8?
Yeah, yeah.
I love Mario Kart 8.
And then nothing.
Who are you? I'm Luigi.
No, I'm the, what do you call it? The little mushroom.
Oh, the Goomba.
Thank you
Yeah,
very
right.
much. So long story short.
Hot TMZ take, by the way. Michael Bublé, Goomba in Mario Kart.
So that day I invited these guys over and we just had fun. And we started to make music and the record came that day. Me sitting in our living room jamming, and it was like I had forgotten how much I loved music.
Really? Forgotten?
Not forgotten. I'd forgotten how much I loved making music with those guys.
Yeah.
And it all came so naturally, but what's weird is months later when I'd go into the studio with Foster, with David Foster, and he said like, what do you think you want to do? I had it all on my phone. So I put the phone up against the piano and
Ooh, you're holding that 7B. That's cool.
Let's go. So drums and bass up front or what? Yes, or just vocal pickups and we're right in.
Is this your house?
When you're smiling.
and that's it, man. And you can go through the list of songs and they all just came like that. And so I remember standing outside and Ryan, who had helped us to set up speakers and engineer and stuff, he was sitting there with a cigarette and I remember looking at him and going like, dude, I forgot how much I love this. And I had forgotten that it was such a massive part of me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I missed it. And so it's been really funny because people kept Foster, like David Foster, we had met again months before that even,
right.
And he said to me, I'm retired, I'm never coming back.
Right.
And I said to him, yeah, and he said, what about you? Are you gonna come back? And
That's what they said about you too, right?
yeah, and I was like, well, that was some bullshit.
Yeah.
From the
Yeah, obviously that's not true.
tabloid bullshit. But anyway.
Yeah.
And I said to David, well, you know, what would you want? I said, oh, David, if I do this, I just want it to be joy. I want to make the music I love with my friends, the songs that I love. I never want there to be anything but bliss. I don't want it to be work or stress, or I don't want to try to make music because I'm looking for a hit or a chart thing. I want it to just be this natural thing and I really didn't know if I'd come back. And I looked at him and I said, what about you? He said, nah, I'm done. I'm retired. And I said, oh, but wouldn't it be fun if you and me could go into the studio and like just be family again and I think that day, now in retrospect, I look back, I don't think either of us had any kind of decision about if either of us would ever do this again, but I think it sort of put a spark into the other man's mind. And then about a year later, we were sitting like this in the studio and I was playing him those songs from the house.
Fire going on in the back.
Fire going on. We were massaging each other's feet.
Yeah.
It was really,
We were both wearing two heavy coats.
It's so weird. It was, I think, one of the most maybe romantic in a very heterosexual way. Sometimes no. But a really romantic sort of reunion. And I think it was, what was really romantic about it was that there were these two guys who he had found me and mentored me, and he was a hero of mine in many ways. And then we had sort of started together, and I think I earned his, not his respect as much as his trust.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden there were it was like this wonderful chance to look at your hero and now feel that I had earned some kind of equality. And I was like Kanye West making this record with him. Like every day I would sit and just say to him, we are unbelievable. Like we're making beautiful music.
I can tell how much you love it, because I was wondering a little bit about why you chose certain songs on the record? What made you pick certain songs? But I'm starting to get the idea. These are just songs you love to sing.
That, and I had no room for any, like I keep going back to this, but I've tried to find this really succinct way to explain me and what I want. And I think what I want is to just put beautiful, positive love out there. And I think I see life, I think I have the wonderment of a child, I really do. I think I always have. I think that there are people in my life that feel that that might be a weakness or it kills some kind of cool factor. But I think that's the essence of who I am. And I think now as a father, it's even more like that. I see life through their eyes and I hear it through their ears. And so there was so much negative happening in the world, from politics, the divide of government, from everything. I mean, there was just so much stuff happening. There's a racial divide, the divide even between with the Me Too movement and Brexit and Donald Trump, and it was just like the world feels like it's falling apart, and I just thought, God, I don't want. Even, Tom, even social media and stuff, or the people's commenting, I just didn't want any of the negativity.
Did you give it up? Did you give up social media?
I did. I didn't give it up. I think I just don't want to. You know what? I try not to watch politics. I try not to do anything that feels that makes me feel crappy. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And so, if it's negative, if I have a thing called the to worth ratio, and if I wake up in the morning, and if there's a list of things that make me feel good and bad, I think it's just very simple. It's like get rid of those bad things, and so all I want to let in is positive, and the truth is all I want to put out is positive.
It's hard to do that.
And you know what? Part of that is meeting you backstage for the first time and looking at you in your eyes and talking about it and just being real with you, and because it is so selfish because it feels so good. Does this make any sense?
I definitely understand the impulse to want positive things around you all the time. And I'm trying to bat away my natural, and I think I'm a pretty optimistic person, and I have a really strong distaste for cynicism. I really hate cynicism.
Yeah.
But I have to admit that I'm listening to you and going, sometimes the world is hard. It's just a hard place, and it's hard to avoid.
It is.
It's hard to turn that stuff off.
And it's why
it's hard not to wake up in the morning and check your phone and feel.
And I have days, so many, just like you and just like everyone else, where I am so not the guy that I want to be. Yeah. And I think part of that is for me anyway is, man, this is really good therapy for me. Thank you so much.
I'm gonna bill you.
You should bill me. I'm literally gonna walk away feeling better and lighter and.
Tell me what you do on the bad days. What do you do on the bad days?
The truth?
Yeah. If you want to.
Okay, I'll tell you. So I had you know what I will? I'm gonna tell you exactly what I do. So I was in London and I was feeling anxious. I had to do a really big TV show called The Graham Norton Show.
Yeah, huge show.
And I was, like anyone would be, I was trepidatious and nervous that I wouldn't be funny or myself, or the anxiety was getting to me. And so I called home on FaceTime, on what do you call it, Skype, and I said, I had my two kids looking at me, and I said, boys, Poppy's nervous, I'm scared, it's getting to me today, and I said, would you pray for me? Would you help me to remember what's important? And they closed their eyes, and God knows what it is they said, because they didn't say it out loud. I just heard one of my kids finish off and say like, amen, and then he looked at me and he said, okay, Poppy, you know what, I talked to God and it's gonna be okay. And man, I just instantly, I felt like I just remembered again, you know? And what's really funny about this is that I showed up to the show and I felt so good. And I felt like I had sort of meditated and found that kind of peace that I had needed. And when I was backstage with my guests, with the other guests, I had this really beautiful moment where I was standing with them. It was Carey Mulligan and Taron Egerton. Mm-hmm. And I came up to them and I said, "How you guys feeling?" I said, because I was terrified today. And they said, yeah, it's definitely nerve-wracking. And I don't know them from Adam, but I think I kind of grabbed both of them by the hand and said, same kind of thing I said to you, like, you guys, you want to promise something to each other? Let's life is too short. Like, let's go out there and enjoy ourselves and have fun together. And I think I said to her, Carey, I said, do you think that when we're old, we're ever going to remember if we sucked or not on this TV show? And she kind of looked at me and she went, "No, I don't think we are." And I was like, well then, everybody, let's go out and let's be in the moment and have a good time. And it was beautiful. It was a beautiful moment, and I feel like all of us, Sir Ian McKellen was on the show, and we just had this, and also, I think we just had I think in the most unnatural environment, we had a genuine connection, and we were just people that got to be in the moment together.
The reason I do this show and the reason I think art's important is I think it's like the greatest conduit we have to empathy in our lives. That if you hear someone else sing about their problems or sing about their joys, you can understand them better as humans, and we understand each other better as humans. So when I read the tabloid reports, admittedly tabloid reports, that you weren't going to make any more music, I was really sad about it. Thank you. And I'm really happy you are, because I think it's good for a lot of people. And I think it gives people who don't have the opportunity to do what you do the opportunity to feel the way you feel right now.
Yeah, that was weird for me, that whole thing too.
How about that, hey?
Well, because I don't read, right?
So what happens? So you just wake up one day and you find out?
No, so basically it wasn't I'm not even going to name the paper, but
right.
It wasn't the paper, it was the online version. I found this out later because I had people writing me and saying, what's the worst part is people were going, "We're so happy for you. You've made
You're going to retire, thank God.
You've made a great decision." And then I realized what they had done is they had taken a statement that I had made 2 years ago when I had said that I was going to take time away from music.
Right.
And they had taken the statement, and then I had spoken to a journalist, and she'd walked in the room and she had said, "Dude, you've made the greatest record of your life." She said, like, "What are you going to do now? You know what I mean? Like, you're never going to make a better record." And I went, "Yep, better retire." I think I made a joke and said, like, "Yeah, it's over. This is it for me." And of course, then they took that quote out of context. They mixed it, because of my stupid humor. I just talked to Blake Shelton about it, because he does stupid stuff like that all the time too. And they took that quote and they knew it was seedy, but it got clicks and stuff. But it's weird, because there's two different parts of me. When people started to tell me, there was this conflicting thing inside me, because one of them was this, I felt very hurt. I was like, oh my God, they've just lied, completely fabricated this lie.
Right.
And my God, are they going to impact my life? Are people going to think that I'm somehow trying to exploit what I've been through by calling some fake retirement? And I got all this insecurity about it, and I was really angry. You know, it hurt me. Yeah. And then there was this other side of me, that artist, that insecure artist, that was like, oh, they still care. Right. They're talking about me. Right. You know, they care enough about, you know, about me that I'm still relevant in some way, that I didn't disappear. I've kind of not just disappeared into the ether of whatever, the obscurity of, you know, celebrity. So, but it was also fun for me to be able to come out and answer the questions about it, because it was fun for me to say that it was all bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to own your own story there.
How much do you have to edit what I say?
Not a lot.
Like, I can't say the words I'm saying, can I?
You know what we're going to do? It's going to sound like this.
Oh, really?
Michael, thanks, Michael. Thanks so much. Nice talking to you.
It's always nice talking to you. You know what the truth is? We could throw away the cameras.
I think we should.
And we could get some drinks and I could hang out with you like this all day.
I can't wait. You let me know. I got lots of bars in my neighborhood.
Dude, I like the way you say bars too.